there we are. Hello. I'm gonna get this framed up a little bit better. Thank you. Okay. Let's see if we can get this. I think that's a fairly decent angle for you guys right now. I'm literally just doing Cricut stuff. So I'll try to turn this around here. I'm just getting started on setting all this up, and so if you're going to join me and do the thing, whatever you're going to do, what I am going to do is cut out the new pattern I just bought using my Cricut, hopefully if Design Space cooperates. I gotta tell you guys, I literally never use my Cricut anymore. It's been a really long time, so frankly, I used to have an Air Explorer, an Air Explorer 2, I mean, and I had that for years up until the beginning of last year, and I upgraded to the Maker. I gotta tell ya, for me, not really worth it. I thought I was gonna use that rotary blade. I have literally never used it once. Well, I used it once, didn't like it, went back to the deep cut blade, and this cuts exactly the same way as my Air Explorer 2. So that was kind of a huge waste of money, in my opinion, and I thought that my Air Explorer 2 was like nicer than this. So, you know, it's fine, but I didn't really gain a whole lot of anything upgrading to this. So if you're wanting to use your Cricut tonight, you can follow along with me while I do that. I'm just getting it all set up here, trying to like not make a huge mess. My power cords. I'm going to use the SVGs. I am going to cut out the name should be on the title here. It's the K.Azcona Designs Heartbreaker bag. So I'm doing the full size bag, but you can do, you know, whichever one you would like. I am using a streaming service tonight for this, so I'm hopeful that you guys can obviously see everything and everything's working good. The streaming service, I'm still trying it out, and I can see your comments, but it's a little hard. So obviously feel free to chat amongst yourselves, chat to me. Definitely gonna be a very like easygoing situation tonight. So tell me what you're working on, and frankly, I might need help from you guys if I can't remember how to do this, but hopefully we'll be good. So I'm doing the Heartbreaker bag. You guys can probably guess what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be the main color of my bag, and I'm gonna put some details on the bag for a fun Valentine's Day theme, and I'm gonna use this metallic vinyl for said accents. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do rainbow hardware, and I think I'm going to use this, I don't have my sewing machine up here right now, because, you know, we're going to cut everything, but when we're done cutting, I'm going to use this Wizardry Tex 45 in the Celestia rainbow, because I think that'll end up looking, it looks like really pink and purple, and I'm sure that it is, but when you kind of spread it out on here, it's mostly just rainbow. So I'm stoked for that, and so I think I'm going to do rainbow hardware. We might get into this, though, and I might decide, you know, to make a change. I do that. I don't know if you guys do that, but I do that. I have, like, a plan in mind, and I think, oh, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to do it just like this. And then I get, like, part of the way through it, and I start messing with the design, thinking that that's not really what I wanted. But hopefully Design Space cooperates. I need to quick download my files so I can get the SVG files out of here. This pattern does include Brother SVG files, and then Cricut and Silhouette files, and then of course there's the pattern. So of course we need the pattern, and then we're gonna grab these, and I just need zipper pocket stabilizers, connector, main pocket, and appliques. I think that's all I'm gonna need. I guess we'll see. Having never done this bag before, I have zero idea what I'm looking at, so I do wish those were labeled, but that's okay. We'll figure out how to get these into Design Space. So, gosh, maybe a new project. I literally don't remember how to do this. You could, of course, easily, this is not a bag that I think you're going to need to, you know, cut a whole bunch of stuff with like SVGs. I just thought it would be fun and haven't used this thing in a while, so I need to keep brushed up. I'm going to grab a mat. I think I am going to use the Strong Grip mat. The Strong Grip mat, the purple mat, is the one I usually use. It was recommended to me when I first bought this thing. They were like, oh, you don't need this Strong Grip mat. 100% for me, I need the Strong Grip mat. Every time I cut vinyl, if I don't do the Strong Grip mat, it ain't sticking. So that's no good for me. Let me see, upload an image. Where are all of my things? Maybe dropping it would be better because okay, so one of these cut image. Each color of this image will be an individual color. Sure, why not? Why not? They come up here as two different. Can I not like zoom out? There we go. So they come out from the SVG as two different images. I need to look at this pattern really quick and figure out like what I'm supposed to be cutting. Where's my cut list? I think I'm just gonna do, I know my machine will handle it, so I'm doing vinyl tonight, and then obviously vinyl accents, and I probably have some waterproof canvas over there that I'm just gonna use, and I don't know. Has anybody ever cut waterproof canvas on the Cricut? I have not, so that's gonna be new for me. I've only ever done vinyl and some leather, and I have done a wee bit of just like cotton woven fabric that was interfaced, you know, but most of what I've done is vinyl. So maybe we'll try waterproof canvas, I don't know. I need two of these. And then I need, let me see, what are you? This bag, I think it just came out either yesterday or today, so unless you were a tester, you probably haven't made one either. And you'll be doing it right along with me. Let's see. Lining. Okay, so I don't have a large one of these mats, I just have the small square one, so I'll be cutting one piece at a time, which is fine for me. What I don't know is, there we go, I was gonna say, I can't read this. Okay. I need to read it. So I typically don't do stuff like this on the fly, you guys. I'll make something before I ever even like talk to you about it, talk to anybody about it. I'll make it like 4 or 5 times, and I'll make it at least 3 times before I shoot a tutorial. So being that this is just like me screwing around, you're getting a very accurate representation of my process. I'm just going to be reading through the pattern. Like my husband just left to go get go do a couple of errands, and he's like, I'll bring back dinner. So we were gonna have pizza, decided he's gonna bring back dinner, so at some point you'll be eating dinner with me too. I am having a roaring Friday night over here. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna reference, I do this a lot too, even when it has SVGs, I reference like the pattern pieces. I do wish this one had a projector file, because if it had a projector file, I would not even bother with this. I would cut them by hand because it is way, way faster, and this is not a particularly complicated, you know, shape or anything. But she has some really nice accents on this bag, I've noticed, which I like. Let me see. That's that piece. Then we have a gusset. Gusset. What I didn't look at, just thinking out loud while I'm reading here, I didn't pick a zipper yet. So I'm hoping I have some kind of zipper. Otherwise, I might have to pivot and select different vinyls. But I think this will make... There was original Conversation hearts colored like this, and they always had like bright pink colored like text stamped into them. So I also think this bag will be fairly straightforward to make. I've made very similar ones. This is a bound bag. I believe she does call for bias tape. Yeah, it's a bound bag, so definitely going to be doing some binding tonight. Obviously, you could make the bag and just leave it not bound if you are not using fraying materials. But if you're like me and you're using fraying material, then you may want, you know, or even if you're not using fraying material is what I meant to say, you may still want to bind it. I will definitely end up binding it. Well, gosh golly, if I can't figure out, let me see. The problem with these SVGs, it's labeled in such a way that I'm having a bit of a problem telling what it is. So I don't know. I had planned to use this, but I'm afraid I'm going to end up cutting out the wrong pieces, and the SVGs are not labeled super great. So I can take a stab at it, but I'm afraid I'm going to end up wasting materials, and I have way too many windows open here. Wasting materials, and I don't like doing that. So let's go back to this. That's the dimension of this, and then what's weird about this is it ain't labeled. I hate that. I require very clear explanation on things. So then I'm just kind of guessing on my own what I'm doing. Well, I'm almost tempted to just go print it out and not even fool with this, because if you've had a Cricut, you know these things, at least in my experience, are temperamental. And of course you're going to sit down and finally get it to cut and design space won't work. Or, you know, it's going to eat your project 4 times. That doesn't always happen, but I had really hoped... sorry. Strong grip mat, folks. I had really hoped that this would be a little bit more clear cut. I have kind of found that this is my first one from this company, by the way, from this pattern. I have never made one of these before. Or any of the designs from this company, but I had kind of hoped that the SVGs would be labeled a little bit more clearly, or there would be some better instructions instead of just kind of having to guess. And it's not a big deal, but I have found that with multiple companies that it's a little bit frustrating. Or one of them, I bought it because it had what I needed. It had the pieces, and then for the SVGs, and then I got in there and the SVGs were not in there. Like, part of them were, but it was only a few pieces. And the ones I really would not want to cut by hand were not included in the SVG bundle, which was so frustrating. It was like, seriously, I'm not going to cut rectangles on a Cricut. I can cut that with a ruler and a rotary. What I needed were these abnormally shaped pieces, and they're not in here. So that was not great. So I don't have a great track record with these anyways. But, you know, what can you do? I'm just cutting off a chunk here, and then I'm gonna plaster this guy down like so. I don't do pretty side down. It's just, I just don't. I use the strong grip mat. Anytime I've tried to do pretty side down, it seems to shift a lot and stretch more. That is just me. So, you know, it's just me. Let's see if we can get this to fit, shall we? I don't know why. Let me see. Can I drag you? I can. Okay, so can I ignore you and ignore that? And if I ignore that, does that mean it's just gonna cut it? Is it gonna be that easy? I'll be shocked if it's that easy, but it's been a long time since I've done, like I said, any cutting on this thing. I think the last thing I did was cut purse pals many moons ago, and it did work great. Those SVGs were great. Okay, I think right here is good for positioning. Let's see if we can get it to go. I also do not connect my maker via Bluetooth because default pressure. I think this is still set up on my favorite that I was using last time. Let's see how it goes, shall we? Anyway, the wheels. I did the wheels. Let's do that. This should be set up from the last time I cut vinyl. I think it will stay there on my favorite that I finally figured out how to do it. So, oops. Definitely had a box of Kleenex back there that just fell off. It's the beauty of a live video, you guys. It's just, you know, a big, beautiful mess. Okay, let's see if it cuts, shall we? Or if it's gonna... Oh. Time out. Hopefully. Well, let's see if it messes up my mat. I do remember at one point I had cut through on this when I was figuring out the settings, and it cut really deep. It cut too deep. I'm hoping this is set from the last time because I did eventually figure it out. That was like a year ago. Let's see what happens. So strong grip mat for me. I'm not doing pretty side down, and I'm using just regular old marine vinyl and the deep cut blade. I think this is set to do 2 or 3 passes. I don't remember what I set it on. So what I was going to say is I don't connect via Bluetooth. I always connect via the cord. Okay, so I did 2 passes. That's what I had it set for once upon a time. Yeah, and it cut through beautifully. So, eject that. Woohoo! I'll save these cast-offs. And so we've got this one. So, that was actually pretty easy. Like, you can see it cut out really nice. We'll do that again. I will use this one as my, like, guide for how big of a piece I need to cut out to put on here. Anyway, I do not connect via the via the Bluetooth cord. I mean, like Bluetooth connection. I use the cord is what I'm trying to say. I use the cord because once upon a time, my old Cricut, the Bluetooth went out on it. It like was so finicky and it took forever to transfer over. So I just use the cord. And if I use the cord, it's like always happy. So, okay. I want to it did make a little bit of a line on here, which I'm okay with. So this way I can see exactly where my vinyl needs to go. It should end up like right there. So that'll be fine. This is why I like the strong grip mat too, because I don't know if I can just do a repeat cut. Is that a thing? Oops. No, maybe not anymore because I just put it in and took it back out. Okay, well, fine. You used to be able 100 years ago to just send it through again and push go, but like now it got weird. So I cut my vinyl a little crappy and it's wrinkling on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's under the wheel. Yeah, let go. Let go. Let go. So I'm just gonna nip off this edge. It's because I cut it like well beyond the sticky. And once upon a time I definitely learned my lesson about that. If it's well beyond the sticky where the rollers are, it'll be a big old pain. So I just nipped it off a little bit so that the machine is not lifting the vinyl. Let's see. So I don't know if you guys just aren't chatting very much tonight or if I can't see the commentary. I just see like connecting to chat. So I can't see if you guys are chatting to me or like what you're saying. I'm trying to get it to pop up. I don't see anything on here. So anyway, wherever you're tuning in from, like feel free to say hey and you know, chat about stuff. What are you working on, if you're working on anything? After we get done with these pieces, I'm going to actually use this to cut out my appliques that I'm going to be doing on here. And I need to figure out, purely guessing on the pattern, having not read through it, but I'm guessing that I don't know if we're going to get a clean cut on this one either. It's overlapping on the other side too and wrinkling there. I should have cut both sides. Sorry. Just noticed that, so hopefully it cuts okay, but I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna skip a whole section, which is fine. I can cut that out myself. But so that's what I was talking about. It like wrinkled right here because I exceeded the side, so I cut this side off and didn't cut the other side like a dummy, but that's okay. So it barely didn't cut this one little portion. Okay, so did that. I don't think I am going to use the connectors that she provides in the pattern. I say she, I don't actually know who designed this, but the designer has connectors in here, and I don't think I'm going to use those. I think I am going to use some of my hardware actually and do connectors on the side depending on how big the gusset is. That's my plan. I do not need that open in here. Let's see. Okay, done. So now we'll hide this one. We'll unhide this one. Come back. There we go. Hide. Hide, and now we have this, which I believe this one is supposed to be the pocket. So I need to see, oh my god, I have too many windows open, go away. I don't think I need that open. Let me reference my cut list again really quick. It references a pocket on here, but then on the cut list, I do not see said pocket. I see a different pocket. So I am very confused by that. That's this second piece, I think, that's here. on the pattern. And I just don't see it referenced, so I don't want to... Okay, I found it here. I still don't see it referenced on the cut list though. That's frustrating me. This is so weird. I'm gonna guess she wants 2 of them cut, because you have to have 2. We're probably gonna do them right sides together, stitch them, turn them, would be my like pure guess, but it's not referenced here. You can, it says it's optional, it's here in the pattern, it's just not on the cut list. So I think I want that pocket. I think it's pretty cute, and I don't know if she calls for it, but I'm going to put a magnetic snap on the inside of it, and then I'll do my applique on the front. So I think I'm going to cut this out of the same color, out of the blue, and then I'll need a liner is what it looks like. So we'll get that out of the way, and I'll just cut another piece this big, even though I think the pocket piece is a little smaller. Got a little cast off here, so this will work. What do y'all think? Should we try to cut some waterproof canvas on the Cricut? That is not something I've ever done, and it could go horribly wrong. We'll cut this first, that way we don't screw it up. But I'm kind of thinking like, ooh, let's try to cut the liners since I already have it all set up here. Why not? Kind of taking a peek over at my canvas. I hope I have a good color that I can use. So this time I will not make that same mistake of exceeding my edges, because I don't like that crinkling. So I will, this has a little nick in it anyway, so I will toss this. It was just kind of on the edge there, and it had some ugly stuff on it, so. Use this one. Okay, so should be good on this one. On the mat. I'm really actually very happy with how well this is going, because seriously, I avoid my Cricut like the plague. I was, you know, not quite like OG Cricut days, but back in the day when Cricut Design Space was like brand new, and I hated it. I don't know about you guys and if you kind of dealt with that, but oh gosh, I can remember the days of like having to wait in line where it would be like, there's no space, you know, for you to get on Design Space, so you know, eventually we'll let you in at some point. It was terrible. So it's really nice. It's doing better. I made an adjustment. I left all my settings the same, except I put it on less pressure. It was on default before, but it's doing 2 passes, and I think it's just, I don't think we need to do that. So I put it on less pressure, and let's see if we still get a good clean cut, shall we? While this is going, I'm gonna grab waterproof canvas. I feel really bad. I don't know if you guys are chatting. Oh, okay. Well, there's finally a comment. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't know if anybody is chatting, but I can't see it. Cherish says, hey there. I finally caught you live. Yes, you did. I will be live all night tonight because I don't have anything better to do. So I'm going with this color, waterproof canvas, for my liner. Because I can, I'm gonna cut 2 pieces. Ooh. Let me see. Ooh, I got really close to the edge on that one. I didn't pay crazy close attention. So the less pressure did okay. So that's good. I'm such a hoarder, you guys. I won't throw away like any scrap unless it's got schmutz on it or like whatever. And I don't even do embroidery projects anymore, which I totally should. I just don't. Oh yeah, so the less pressure was way better. 2 passes didn't quite make like the same mark in my mat. I don't know if you can tell. So less pressure for me, the less setting is good. I probably won't remember that in a year when I go to do that. So this is the pocket, and it's basically just going to blend in and disappear on the back. But this would be really cool to do with 2 colors to have like an effect, especially an ombre effect if you had like a dark yellow and a light yellow, or, you know, that would be really cute. But I just want my pocket to go away. And we're going to do the fun stuff with the applique on the front here. But before we do that, we'll try to cut the waterproof canvas. I have no idea. Shout out to me, please, if you have ever done waterproof canvas and what you think for the settings, because I use the thin garment leather setting for this. And I do the less pressure will work, and it's 2 passes. And the strong grip mat with the deep cut blade. That combination seems to work really good for me, and I don't have to worry about it like being a problem child. I did figure all of that out like a year ago when I was trying to cut purse pals, but I've never cut waterproof canvas, and we're gonna try it. I hope it works. Guess we'll see. I keep leaving my damn scissors over here. How many times? How many times? Okay, so I just loose cut out my heart so I can get a good size. We'll start with the main one, and I'm gonna do it with the canvasy rubbery side down. Let's see. You can kind of tell where the heart was before, and I'm not gonna move the settings at all. A really good push down. Okay. Please don't break my Cricut. We need to turn this one off, turn this one off, and then bring it over here. And then I don't remember how to change settings in here. So by the way, if you're following along with me, the SVG that I'm using is the one that's labeled, what is it labeled as? Main pocket. What confused me about it is there's 2 different sizes on it, and I didn't know if that meant it's the main pocket or the main and the pocket. That's what it means. It's the main and the pocket. So if you're trying to follow along with me and you were confused like me, one is the main, one is the pocket. So that's what that is. So still working on those pieces, and now I'm going to cut the liners for those. If I looked correctly, we need 2 of the outer fabrics and 2 of the lining fabrics, so I'll need 2 of these big ones for the outside, 2 of the liner fabrics for the inside, and then you'll just need 1 of these, which this is not on the cut list that I can tell, so it's kind of confusing to me, but we're gonna cut 1 of these and then cut a liner of 1 of these as well. I think maybe because it's an optional pocket or something, it's not listed. I don't know, but I've looked on here a million times and it's not on here. She kind of has it broken up a little bit. Okay, now that I say that, I just looked down at the bottom. So the main list is for like the regular bag with no extra stuff. If you want to do the optional pocket, it's down here along with other extras, and she does have it listed here. So, and I was right, 1 of the lining, 1 of the outer fabric, and if you need interfacing, you need that too, but I'm not doing interfacing. So, well, that solves that mystery. I was going to say, this is just crazy to me. So now I need to pick a material for waterproof canvas. And nobody has shouted out to me if you've done this before, so We're gonna wing it. There is a fabric section on here. We've got bamboo, broadcloth, burlap, velvet, canvas, cashmere, chambray, chantilly lace, charmeuse, chiffon, cotton, bonded cotton, crepe de chine, crepe back satin, denim, extra heavy fabrics like burlap, faux leather, faux suede, flannel fleece, foam, fuse fleece, fusible interfacing, heavy fabrics, heavy bonded fabrics. We got light fabrics, medium fabrics, wool, muslin, oilcloth, plastic canvas, that's interesting, quilt batting, terry cloth, ultra firm stabilizer, velveteen, viscose, wool crepe. I don't know. I'm tempted to go with either denim or canvas. And we'll just pretend that it's bonded, like interfaced. Obviously it's waterproof canvas, I'm not going to interface it. Thank you. I am glad that I am doing it too, Cherish. I finally feel like being creative, so I'm gonna go with it. Let's see. Hopefully it will look cute. We'll see in the end. I'm kind of winging it. I think I'm gonna go denim or canvas. I don't know. The other thing I'm wondering is if for this it's gonna want the rotary blade. I have it, pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, this is like the scoring one. I have a rotary blade. I couldn't even tell you how to put it in. Well, that's the deep cut blade. Or the titanium blade. Honestly, I don't even know. Actually, maybe this is the rotary. It doesn't seem very sharp. So now I'm confused. And I thought this thing came with a rotary. Hopefully we'll cut it regular because I only have these three and none of these look like the thing that I need. If this is a rotary blade, that's incredibly dull. Well, we'll have to see about that. That's concerning. I really thought this thing came with the rotary. And if I don't have it here, I don't know where it is. So hopefully this will cut what I need it to cut. I think maybe I might go with canvas. Canvas with an extra pass. Okay, rotary blade. I don't know what off means. Multi-cut is off with a cut pressure. So I think I'm gonna do it won't even let me edit these things. I can edit the pressure, I cannot do multi-pass. So that's fun. I guess we will just set it for more pressure and hope that it cuts through and doesn't ruin the mat. Why not? Okay, so we'll try it. I don't know, man. Here goes nothing. I literally do not know where that rotary blade is. If it's not in the little cup up here, that's where I keep all the Cricut stuff, so guessing I lost it, or maybe it didn't actually come with it and I've never used it, so perhaps that's part of my problem. Okay, well, it also thinks it has the rotary blade in there, but it doesn't, so we'll see if it like yells about it. So it says the rotary blade is not detected. I don't think... I mean, I don't have the rotary blade. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Maybe I put it in here? Nope. So yeah, I have no idea where that is. Let's just, will it still let me go? I don't think it will. It said I had to load it in. So we'll try it one more time. If not, we'll cancel it and we'll redo it. This is what frustrates me about this thing. Like, just let me do what I want to do. I don't want to, you know. And the problem is it doesn't tell you what materials in here, you know, need what. Like, I want something that I can just do with the rotary blade. So the fact that it is making me, like, default to the rotary blade, like, I don't want to do all that. So maybe we'll just try, let me see. If I go with leather, and then what if we'll just make one up? I don't know what shimmer leather is, so let's go to shimmer leather and let's edit the settings if it will let me. And hopefully, because it's a leather, it is not gonna make me default to the stupid blade that I don't have. That's so frustrating. It says fine point blade, 3 passes. Let's change that to 2 passes, and then let's leave the pressure there and let's try that one. Shall we? Okay. You are not supposed to be set to that, dang it. You're supposed to be set to leather. Shimmer leather. Okay. Supposed to be set to shimmer leather. I will even do... I set it to multi-pass. Let's see if it will take it now. I don't even know what blade's in here. I'm guessing it's the fine point. I thought it was the deep cut, but I think it's the fine point. If this doesn't work, I'll just do it myself. Oh, hi, Kristen. I opened your packages on live earlier on the Facebook group. I got them. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, so I did already cut my vinyl for those of you just tuning in, and that went fine, but I'm doing waterproof canvas now, and it's yelling at me about not having the rotary blade on. Because I can't find my rotary blade. I don't even know if I have one. I thought the maker came with the rotary blade, but I bought this thing like a year and a half ago and I've used it like 9 times maybe. So we're trying waterproof canvas for the first time and I'm hoping that it doesn't like eat my project and flip out. It's coming up on the edge. I think 1 pass will do it, you guys. I just did 2 passes just 'cause. And it's not wanting to stick in one little area, but it's stuck basically everywhere else, and I didn't move my piece very well, so it's kind of going off the edge. Do you see kind of how I did that? So that's probably part of my issue, but it did fine on the waterproof canvas, so I don't even think it needed the 2nd pass. 1 pass would have been good. And I'm cutting on the same spot so many times I'm literally starting to cut through my mat. I'm so bad at cricketing. Like, I'm really bad at cricketing, you guys. These were not ever made for me. I only ever use them because, you know, for like fun, crazy applique stuff. That's really about all I do. And it frustrates me that, like, it doesn't, I don't feel like I should ever have to pull out a pair of scissors after this, but I almost always have to. Okay, so waterproof canvas. And we don't need 2 passes. So I'm going to go back and change that. But it did do it. And it didn't even get upset about it. So I just put the rubbery side of the OtterTex down on the machine. And so now I have my waterproof canvas liner and I'm outside. So I'm going to cut 1 more of those. I'm going to flip my shape so that I don't like completely cut all the way through my mat. Okay, let's hit done. Let's take this shape. We'll stick with it and then we'll rearrange it on the mat here. Confirm. Move the object. Select a mat or material color. It's this one. So we will just flip it the other way. And then we'll just move it over like a skosh. Okay. So I'm glad I remembered to do that. So now we're gonna just literally repeat that same thing on the waterproof canvas, and hopefully this time it won't go off the edge, so I shouldn't have to cut it all weird. If I leave these scissors over here one more time, oh my gosh, every time. After this, let's see, what did I do with this? I put it this way, I think. Yeah, that's how I moved it. So that way I can just kind of use it to position on the mat well. So after this comes the fun part of the like little themed candy heart thing I want to do. We'll cut all that out on the Cricut too. I don't know how far I'm going to get tonight. Maybe it's just going to be prep, but I'm just going to stay on here all night. It's only 6:30. I'll probably be here till midnight. Obviously not expecting any of you guys to stay, but if you want to work on projects with me and hang out, I would love the company. Okay, so because we left, I have to go back in. So the setting I used is shimmer leather. I want to go back and see. I can't tell if it like accepted my stuff. If it accepted my edits, it looks like. Okay, so fine point blade, that's our pressure, 2 passes. So, okay. I think I'm going to turn that pressure down just a little bit to avoid like cutting through the mat, but I didn't turn it down much. So that should be fine. There, done. And then it's got our blade in there, and then I'm going to, I turned it down less, but because I'm doing 2 passes, I'm going to turn it down to even less pressure again, because we're doing 2 passes. Oops. This thing drives me bonkers with these dumb wheels. It's like crinkling the whole edge again. And so it's gonna get all wrinkled and stupid. So now I have to cut it. This is why I just cut stuff by hand, y'all. Boy, like, I don't think it should be this difficult. I barely went over by not even 1/4 of an inch, and it's flipping out. And so I'm gonna have to keep, you know, doing this. Technology is just not for me. It's lost on me, you know? Really. All right, let's try again. Hopefully that'll keep it from getting crinkly. Okay. I'm really excited about this part. I think these are gonna come out so cute. I'm gonna have to do contrasting stitching on them, on all the little mini appliques I'm gonna be doing, because that's all I have for this Text 45. I ordered this, so hopefully it wasn't enough. If I have any oopsies, hopefully the metallic will distract from it. I need to work on the cleanup clutch for fun, but I want to make a hortensia. I did just see the hortensia came out too, which looks really pretty. That looks like a great bag. And I love anything that lends itself to quilting. So I think that cut through on pass one, y'all. I don't think we even needed that second pass. I'm just overly cautious. I hate taking it off and it like didn't go all the way through. Okay, that time we had success. Yes. It's still cutting, you know, pretty harshly, pretty deep, but it's doing pretty good. So I now have these two liners, and the last one I need is just one liner for my little pocket. So I'm probably going to keep showing the same thing because I know we have people tuning in and out, but I'm doing a back pocket, but see how it kind of disappears? I don't want it to show up because I'm doing applique on the front, so I just want a back pocket. So, I'm reading your comments. Sorry, I'm just like staring at the screen like a weirdo. Hi Gypsy, thank you. I love the color too. I'm trying to go for original conversation heart colors. That's the whole thing. I just haven't decided if I'm going to do original conversation heart letters. I kind of want to do a snarky one. I mean, whatever I do, it'll end up for sale on the website because like I don't ever carry any of these bags. I just have fun creating them and then I just sell them because if I kept all of them, I mean, I'd have a bajillion bags, so there's no way I could do that. So whatever I end up doing, you know, it'll just be for fun. But I am trying to decide if I want to keep to the OG like original or if I want to do a spin-off and do something kind of goofy. But Kristen, you should work on the cleanup clutch for your friend, because if it's cleanup clutch, that means there's a baby in the situation. And if you're anything like me, I am a procrastinator, and the problem is with babies is they grow, and then by the time the baby's around and you are supposed to do a thing, the kid's like 4 and you're like, oh yeah, no, I was totally gonna do that and I forgot. I'm not quite that bad, but it feels like it's that bad. I feel terrible. So you just never know how quickly they're gonna need that thing. So work on the thing for your friend. Don't procrastinate. You can make a hortensia later. That will be your reward. That's your carrot dangled. At least prep the cleanup clutch. And if you already prepped it, then work on it. That's my spiel for you for tonight. Okay, Cherish said that should be amazing. I hope it will be amazing. And Kristen said you push the knobby wheels. So it's not the knobby wheel that's actually causing me the problem. It's these dumb gray ones on the side. This one is like, it's not lined up quite correctly. On this side, I have enough margin that it's not running over into anything. This one is actually too wide. And she says, don't listen to me, I broke mine. So once upon a time, long time ago, I broke an Air 2, putting wood through it. Really, really thin wood, like paper thin wood. And it said it was supposed to do it. It was listed as one of their materials. And I put it in and did all the stuff. And it broke like a minute into it. I was so pissed. And all of this because at the time, I wanted to make a wreath. And I wanted a little sign that said hello on it. And I wanted it to be wood. I didn't want paper or whatever because it's for the front door. And I wanted to stain it. So my girlfriend at the time in like the Cricut groups for tumblers and stuff, she was like, oh, you can totally do this. Here's the directions. Here's a YouTube video. I watch it. It's listed on their materials that you could cut. So I did all the things. And yeah, I totally ate it. And it broke the Cricut. Like little plastic pieces broke off in there. I was heartbroken. And all of this because I didn't want to buy the little sign on Etsy that I had found. I didn't want to wait for it. I was being impatient. It only cost $13. And I mean, that's kind of a lot, but like if you were to go to Joann's or something and buy like a laser cut or whatever thing, it would have been, you know, within the same amount. I couldn't find anything locally. I should have just spent the $13. I was so mad. My Cricut was still under warranty, and because it was a listed material, I did call them and I said, can I just order parts? I need a new housing. They were really nice, and they said, well, we'll make you a one-time deal. We will swap it out for you for like a new unit. You have to send us your old one back, but then your warranty's up. So I would have had like a full year of warranty. But I traded in the rest of the year's warranty worth for like a new unit because it was totally broken, and they told me I couldn't order parts. So they made me a swap, but then I was deathly afraid to use it forever after that it would break. And then I just started using it, and I used to cut vinyl on it. What I said at the beginning of this live is that this is the Cricut Maker 3. Up until buying this last year, I had an Air Explorer 2. I used to cut vinyl on my Air Explorer 2 all the time. I cut all kinds of stuff on it. That was never a problem. And I bought this Maker because everybody was like, oh, cutting fabric, it's so great, blah, blah, blah. This is literally no different than my Air 2. It cuts the exact same way. I use the same blade from my Air 2. So I sold my Air 2 at a garage sale. It was one of the unlocked, ones. It wasn't like a committed one or anything. I sold it to a really nice lady for like, not very much. And just said, okay, well, take it. Because I already owned this one. What was I going to do? But for me and for cutting fabric, and if you're thinking about getting a Cricut or upgrading, my advice to you, this was a very big waste of money. I've never used the rotary cutter. I can't even find it, so that should tell you something. And I feel like I do recall that I had one, or I bought one if you didn't get it, when I first got it, and I remember thinking, it doesn't work. It wasn't working, and so I went back to this blade, which is the exact one I used on my Air 2. So I could have saved myself hundreds of dollars that I spent on this thing. And, I just kept thinking, oh, but it does so many more things. It does, but like not for me. So, you live and you learn. And I also was afraid that Cricut maybe would stop supporting the Air 2. So I bought this, and it's good. I'm not complaining, but I would have saved myself the money, and I should have waited. So if you're on the fence about that, my advice is wait. Because I don't think, there's anything here that my Air 2 didn't do as far as like what I do. Okay, so the last thing I need is just one more piece of waterproof canvas for the pocket liner, and then we're done cutting that, and then I'm going to find a font. I don't even remember how to do fonts that looks kind of like, a blocky whatever font to cut out my words for this super shimmer. Like, oh, I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a bright bag. So then we'll do that. And then we'll start the applique process. That's the first thing I'm going to do is the applique on the front panel. And I think I'm going to use foam, and I'm going to not quilt it, but it's going to kind of look quilted. I think that's what I want to do with my design. Let me see. I need this piece. So we know Kristen is working on the cleanup clutch, right, Kristen? You're not working on the hortensia because you're behaving? Right. I'm saying this to her in her sewing room, and she's probably sheepishly putting away her hortensia pattern that she was just looking at. Behave. Be responsible. I mean, or don't, whatever. But also. I kind of think I can sort of put this any which way. Like that. And I just gotta reposition this to make sure it will work on the canvas, and I gotta cut all the stupid pieces off. Honestly, I probably shouldn't even be doing this. I have some other things I have to do, but I don't feel like being responsible myself tonight. This is the first time in like a month that I have felt genuinely inspired and creative. And so I am just embracing it. I am chasing an endorphin high is kind of what's happening. So I'm just going to chase it. That's what's driving me. So, okay, I got that all pressed down. I also miss how on the old Cricut there was like an open button that like made these fold down all nice. Now you just like stick them up here and like yank them, and it just, I don't know, I miss that little button. It was like magic. You push it and it would like open up all gracefully and pretty. That was nice. Let's see, on the mat. Actually, I lied. Kristen and Cherish both. I don't know if both of you were there, but I know you were there, Kristen. We were talking about Cricut stuff on a Patreon call we were on, because I was making spice labels. So I had previously cut purse pals like many moons ago, but the last thing I actually did with my Cricut was cutting the Cricut Smart Vinyl for those labels for my spice jars. I redid my pantry last year. It desperately needed reorganization. It was such a nightmare, and it was just bad. So bad. And so I finally redid. I think I have that lined up right? Hopefully. Kind of more like that. Hopefully that doesn't run off the edge. It might. I don't know. Anyway, I needed to, my spice rack was like a whole mess, so I ordered some nice clear jars, and I put labels on all of them, and I bought little shelves, and I put a new light fixture in there because it had like the tiniest fixture in the world. You couldn't see anything. It was no good. And when we moved in here, I just essentially we moved in this house in the middle of the pandemic, and we couldn't get movers, so we moved ourselves, and we literally just yeeted everything into this house in every room. It was like we had a trailer, a small one that we were towing behind our SUV. We'd go to our old house, load up a bunch of stuff, bring it here, and just put it in whatever room it went in, and then we would sort it out on the other end. And this was like peak 2020, and the whole world was a nightmare. I'm sure you guys remember. And so we didn't know, what's gonna go on here. And so we just wanted to get out of our house. We were staying away from everybody, obviously, because that's what we were being told by everyone, and it was just a lot. And but moving all that furniture, we are not old, but we're not spring chickens either, so it was a lot to move all that furniture, and we don't have any family here at the time. Everybody was staying away, so we couldn't in good conscience ask anybody to help, and you couldn't hire anybody. So it was a lot. And so we did it, but that pantry, I just threw everything in there on the shelves, and then we lived like that for a year, and I would just buy more groceries as we used other things. I never organized it. So, I finally took the time to organize it, and that was really good. And the spice jars turned out great, but oh my gosh, that Cricut vinyl drove me nuts. I could not get it to stick. It did finally, and they're still good, but oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. Oh my gosh, you guys were talking a lot. Don't touch the gray ones. Oh, the gray. Yeah, I'm not going to touch the gray wheels. I don't touch them, but that's what got all screwed up. Kristen says she listens to my reason. Good. You will feel good about getting it done and getting it accomplished. I think this one might have cut off the edge. It's also cutting in a really weird pattern. Why are you doing that? I guess if it worked. That was weird. The last time it didn't do that. This time it divided and it did cut off the edge. Damn it. It's missing a whole piece. And this time it also didn't cut all the way through. How weird. Why did it do that? But yeah, I messed it up. I have a bite out of my heart. Here, we'll throw this away. We'll save this for, I'm sure I can cut something out of this. A wallet or pocket, tiny pocket liner or something. Okay, take two. Just kidding. How stupid. All right. And yes, Cherish, I saw what you said. Those labels were driving me absolutely mad. I'm so glad that I got them done, but oof. I was getting ready to throw in the towel. They came out really well, and they're still sticking nicely. This is way too big for this dumb mat. This really does just drive me up a wall, y'all. If I would have cut this by hand, I could have been done 3 years ago. Cricket drives me crazy with this stuff. And then I'm just wasting material because I'm having to cut all these little pieces off here and there. But you know, if you cut it too small, it'll go off the edge. And if you cut it, you know, whatever. It drives me crazy. But I'm ready to be done with this part so we can have fun with the other part. I don't know if you guys ate dinner already or if you're snacking, but my husband went to go get his hair cut and he came back and I told him, oh, on your way home, you want to bring dinner with you? Because obviously I'm not cooking. So he's going to bring something home with him to eat. Wonder if this will just let me load it back in and do the thing. Nope. Okay. Oh, maybe? This mat's starting to get not as sticky anymore. That's the other thing that drives me bonkers about this. Like, normally if I weren't doing this video and stuff, I probably wouldn't have wasted my, like, matte sticky on this. I would have just done this part, because I really could have cut this part by hand. It's like, yeah, I saved the paper from printing the pattern, but I'm wasting this whole mat. I knew at one point there were tricks to like re-sticky your mat. And I wonder if any of those actually work. Because I hate just throwing the mat away. Like, that's a huge bummer. I'm so happy that this is cutting waterproof canvas. Because not for this, but there are times when I want that, and you know, especially for applique. If you want to do applique with this instead of vinyl, that would be really nice. Okay, we're done with all that. That's still pretty sticky. Hold on, I need to check really quick on my food. And if you guys want to get snacks and drinks, then it's snack and drink break. You don't remember that time I told you the lady, I was eating snacks on my live and she was like, that's unprofessional, and she left, and I was like, okay, well, I'm hungry, bye. Yeah. So now I'm gonna eat Chick-fil-A. That would surely make her happy. Okay. My very nice husband brought me dinner, which is good, because I was hungry. One time, like, on the Facebook page, it was a hangout video, right? It was a, just come hang out. I was cleaning my sewing room, right? So the whole afternoon was just me cleaning and hanging out, talking about patterns and stuff. Nothing, you know, this was not like a tutorial. This was not a learning experience. This was like you're coming and hanging out with me at my house and we're like buddies and whatever. That's what it was like. I had a little bowl of wasabi almonds. And I said, the title of the video was like, come hang out with me in my sewing room. Like, let's have a snack and clean. Somebody, bless her heart, I don't know what she was expecting. I understand her like feeling, I suppose. But in the middle of the video, it's not like I was eating the whole time. Right now I'm going to be eating the whole time. I'm hungry. But I was just kind of snacking here and there. I'd grab an almond and just have an almond. The camera was like far away across the room on the other side of the table, so it's not like you were right in my face, you know. It was, again, it's a hangout. I go to eat an almond and I'm kind of chatting, like reading the comments, and this lady just randomly types in something along the lines of like, the eating is very unprofessional, or like eating is so unprofessional, or something like that. And then that was it. Like, she just left, and I was like, okay. I didn't even see it, honestly, until after the video. I mean, I guess I didn't really feel bad, but like, I felt kind of bad that she was upset. I don't know. So, if you're here tonight and you thought almonds were unprofessional, now I'm having chicken and fries, and dips are involved. So, I'm team honey mustard. I'm reading, obviously, all this. If you don't know what I'm doing when I'm staring at the thing, I see Pammy is on here with us. Hi, Pammy. I never tried waterproof canvas in my Cricut. This was a first time for me. So if you're still here, the settings I used, I'm using the fine point blade. I'm using the purple matte, which is the strong grip matte. I did the rubbery side down. This is OtterTex, so it's got the rubbery coating on it. I did that down with the canvasy side up, so right side up, wrong side down. And then I did, I used the setting for shimmer leather because it says it's 1 millimeter thick. I backed the pressure down a little bit on it, and I did 2 passes. And then I put the pressure on the menu where it says less, default, more. I did less, even still, so that it hopefully wouldn't cut too much. I definitely think 2 passes is a must, because there were a couple of little spots where it wasn't, like it was fully good all the way around, but you can kind of tell, I don't know if you can see it, like it cut really well, but in a couple of these spots, if we didn't have that second pass, it may not have, you know, done its thing. So just a thought for you. I used the shimmer leather setting because I tried to use canvas. It wants the rotary blade for that. I can't find my rotary blade. I don't even know if I have one. I'm not sure. So I swear I thought I did at one point, but I don't know. So anyway, the shimmer leather setting will allow you to use the fine point blade. It won't yell at you. So there's that. Kristen, I know. I could have cut it out myself. This is not a shape that I would have done. So one of the last things I cut for vinyl that I was doing, I did a bag with the backstitch tapes, and I put baby Groot on the front of it in a little pot, and he had little headphones on. I cut all of that on the Cricut. I hand applied it like on my sewing machine, but I cut all the pieces with the Cricut. So that is something, I mean, you could cut it by hand, but I'm not doing that. So, you know. By contrast, this bag. Okay, so I wanted to cut this out on my Cricut, this portal, all these pieces. I had to cut these by hand, like legit by hand. I ended up having to print off a Google image, cut the image out of the paper, lay it down on the back sides of the vinyl, trace it out, and cut it, because I could not find a freaking SVG that even kind of looked like this, and I couldn't get it correct. So I was like, screw it, I'll cut it myself. And I did, but it took me like an hour. It was crazy. So I really wish if I'd have slapped it on here, I'd have been able to get it out, but I could not find an SVG or any kind of an image that would work. And I'm not that skilled with Design Space, so I cut it by hand. Back in the day, that's what you used to do before we had Cricuts. You cut all that stuff by hand. I would print out a Google image, cut out multiples of them sometimes, and then you layered it on your stuff, cut it out, and dealt with it. So. Cherish says, but you're having so much fun. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun hanging out with you guys. And again, this is my Rockin' Friday night. So, French fries, chicken tenders, Dr. Pepper, cricketing. We'll get to some sewing in a little bit once I finish my dinner. Huh, Yummy said, I don't mind at all that you're eating. Well, thank you. I'll try not to chomp in your face. I tend to have fairly decent manners when I eat, but... I'm kind of skipping around here trying to read all of this. I wish, so this streaming thing that I'm using, I wish that the comments were bigger. It's actually supposed to be a tandem thing where I shoot on my phone and then I'm supposed to be able to have my laptop with it up and have all the streaming stuff on it bigger, but it doesn't work. So I'm really frustrated. We were trying this service. I like the app, but it doesn't work. We opened a support ticket with them. They fixed it before. We went to launch it tonight and it doesn't work again. So it's like, well, fine. So I was supposed to be dual streaming to YouTube and dual streaming to the Facebook group. I'm really disappointed I wasn't able to make that work for the second time because I feel bad for those people who are only on, you know, Facebook. And frankly, I forgot to post that I was on YouTube. So I guess maybe I should tell somebody. I'll feel bad if people miss it. It'll be published after, but you know. Anyway, this hasn't been working, so now I have comments here on the phone, but then I have to stare into the camera, which is weird. And the comments are like so tiny, you guys. They're like, I don't even know, like 10, not even 10 pixel, probably like, or 8 point or whatever font. They're so tiny and I'm blind. So that's why I'm staring into the camera all weird. I really wish I could make it work. And then of course my finger has to be in front of the camera to move it. Thank you for the secret settings. Well, they're definitely not secret, but that's what I figured out. Hopefully it works for you. Hopefully it works really well and it doesn't eat your project, but I had good luck with it. I did it, what, 4 times? I gotta make sure 3 times. I have all my liners right. I still need to cut the gusset pieces, but I'll probably just do that by hand. I'm not gonna fool with this. But we'll cut the letters from my bag next. So she said, I don't mind at all that you're eating. I've never tried waterproof canvas. Yes, Pammy, her strap connectors. So she, in this pattern, specifically, she has a thing for strap connectors, which look really good. And I haven't decided if I'm going to use those yet, or if I'm going to just use metal hardware. I carry in my store the big metal strap connectors, and I really like them. And they add a really nice element, and I'm lazy. So you literally just like set them and they look great and they're awesome. But I don't know if the gusset, having never made this bag, I don't know if the gusset is wide enough to accommodate. So I'm going to get in here and then I'll figure out which one I want to do. And it's way nicer than cutting them because then they're symmetrical and everything too. You're totally right. Christian, I'm a human with needs. Yeah, for real. I'm a human with needs for snacks. Snacks are life. Yeah, again, I fully would have understood it if it was like, oh, come sign up for a class with me, or like, you're paying to be here and this isn't just free content, you know, this isn't just like me screwing around. Also, if it was like a full tutorial or something, I get that. There are some videos I just cannot watch if the videos are like with intent to teach. I cannot watch them and like deal, you know, like somebody sitting here eating, where I'd be like, oh my God, get to the point, because I'm trying to like sew this bag with you and I need to learn. This is not that, and that was not that. So I just thought it was a little much, but hopefully she went on to have a better day. Maybe she needed a snack. She needed to go eat a Snickers. I don't know what you were saying about what's the floral thing on the mat now. Oh, that's just the mat. There's like a design on it. Like I don't know. They put fancy flowers on it. And I'm about to start eating this chicken here. I must know, I am pretty much exclusively team honey mustard. I love honey mustard on chicken nuggets or chicken tenders. I like barbecue sauce, just not on chicken tenders. And I'll eat ketchup if I have nothing better. I'm not really a ranch girl for that. Ranch is for other things. So I must know. Crucial questions. What is your dipping sauce for like your chicken tenders, chicken nuggets? I need to know. I'm always team honey mustard. My husband is team ketchup. Once upon a time, he just liked honey. But you can't go places and just get honey anymore. That is not a thing. I think KFC is like the only place you can just get honey and they give it to you in packets. So, get this like mat out of here. I need crumbs everywhere. I also normally don't eat in my workspace. It's kind of rare. And I usually don't eat stuff like this, but I forgot to eat dinner before I got on, and then I thought, well, whatever. So anyway, I am pretty much always, I was trying to think if there's any other time or any other restaurant I go to where I'm not team honey mustard, but like I'm pretty much always team honey mustard. Oof, but you know what? I'm about to be so greasy and like terrible. And I did not get any napkins, y'all. So I'm gonna have to leave. Oh, Deanna, what happened to pizza? Okay, so on my live earlier on the Facebook group, I said I was just going to heat up cold pizza, which I was going to. Corey went and got a haircut across the street, and when he came back, I said, oh, you're going to heat up pizza? And he just said, I'll just bring dinner home. So he elected to bring home Chick-fil-A. So cold pizza will be for tomorrow night. It's fine, because we ordered the pizza last night, so you know what pizza keeps for like at least 4 days, 3 days? It'll be gone by tomorrow, though, for sure. It was Gypsy that said what was the floral thing on the mat. Hopefully I answered your question, Gypsy. And then in a minute here when I'm done with my dinner, we'll get to the words on the heart. And then I'll bust out the sewing machine. Cherish, you bring up a good point. Gravy. It is gravy for me on my chicken only at 2 places. Being a southerner, Oklahoman / Texan, you can probably guess where those 2 places are. That would be the number 13 at Whataburger, the chicken tender, like whatever box with toast. That is white gravy. And then Dairy Queen, the chicken tender basket, also with toast. White gravy. Everywhere else is team honey mustard for me, though. Deanna, we're talking about dipping sauces. It's very hard-hitting stuff. I'm eating my chicken tenders, and I said I needed to know what everybody's dipping sauce preferences were. But I want to know. So I was saying, oh, I'm always team honey mustard, but that's technically not true, because at 2 places only, I do the gravy. Whataburger and DQ. Okay, so Kristen, I need to know who doesn't have good honey mustard. The one thing I'll say, McDonald's honey mustard is kind of too mustardy. I eat it anyway, but it's not my favorite. But, now, curry sauce? Oh my gosh, okay, so you guys, I went to Europe for the first time in December. We're actually not really big McDonald's eaters. But we've been over there for a while, and I just wanted, like, you know, home food, if that makes any sense. After a while, you get kind of homesick, and I was like, oh, I just want a cheeseburger. Or I just want chicken tenders. or chicken nuggets. So we went to, excuse me. We went to McDonald's in 2 places. Once at kind of the beginning-ish of the trip, and then once toward the end when we were like all fooded out and we were just like, oh, I just want like this. And the other thing was I really wanted to try it in a foreign country because I want to know the differences. Like, you have a good comparison for that, right? If you've had it before. The 2 big fast food restaurants that were everywhere over there that were like American, Burger King and McDonald's. And I didn't really want Burger King, so it's like, okay, we'll go to McDonald's. So we did it twice. At one of them, we had like wildly different menu things. Like, we purposefully picked stuff that wasn't on the American menu just to try it. It really is wildly different over there, y'all. Just everything about it is totally different. The atmosphere, the service, the everything is totally different, like completely different concept. So that was interesting. But then the food. They have different sodas, they have different things, so that was cool to try. But at the last stop, I was like, you know what? The second time we had it at the end, I just wanted chicken nuggets. So I got chicken nuggets, and I got barbecue sauce in case it was bad. They did not have honey mustard. Excuse me. But they had something called curry sauce. Now, I like Indian curry, and I've heard, specifically our British friends, really love curry sauce. I always hear about the curry sauce. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. Picture like honey mustard with a lot more mustard and then like different spices in it. It was kind of the same color as this, like a brownish orange. It was so good. It was a little bit more spicy than a spicy honey mustard, but not so spicy you like couldn't taste your meal. It was really sweet. Oh my gosh, I could have gotten a million of those packets. I fully understand the obsession with curry sauce now. If we had that here, I would be getting curry sauce. I think they also have it in Canada, but don't quote me on that. We were not in England when we had it. We were actually in, we were in France at that point. So I don't know if they have it at all the French ones. So we were at Disney, just outside the park, and I'm gonna have to go wash my hands. We were at Disney just outside of the park, and we noticed that like the majority of the guests there obviously were French, but the only other demographic that was really large was British. And I'm wondering if all of the McDonald's everywhere have curry sauce there, or if it's mostly that location, because seriously, everybody in that place, there was not a single French person in there except for the ones working. It was all British tourists. So that was really funny because we didn't run into a single British tourist in Disney until we went into this McDonald's, and we were like, did we just transport like locations? It's just so funny. You can hear like all the accents when we walked in there, and it's like they're not speaking French anymore. It's all English. And it's all like English. So that really cracked us up. But okay, I'm gonna clean up my mess here. Get a little Clorox wipe just kind of greasy. Clean up, wash my hands. I'll be right back. case y'all, I'm sure just heard that. It's my door running into everything that's in here. My studio is like a train wreck at this point. That's why I said I shouldn't be doing all this. I really need to be cleaning and doing other stuff. But one of you so very correctly and kindly brought up that I need to be creative. And that is an understatement because I have just been, it's been a time. So the fact that I actually feel creative and I have some time to do something to myself, I'm gonna do it. So, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna double check all my pieces here. I'm gonna catch up on the conversation for a minute. And then I'm gonna cut some letters. Okay, that's all good. This is a scrap piece because it's missing a chunk. Okay, I think this will be okay. It's not very sticky down here, but as long as we don't use that part, we'll be all right. Curry sauce at Chicken Kitchen, which we had in Miami. We definitely don't have that here. Well, if we do, I don't know about it. But I know about a lot of chicken places. Now I want ice cream. Yes, and I bet you, so my husband gets these like weird cravings, and I bet you if we're still on here at like midnight, he'll probably walk in here at 10 p.m. with blizzards. We have a Dairy Queen around the corner. And that's just his thing. Like, he'll just do that, and then he just kind of comes in, and it's like, well, if he brings me one, then he can have ice cream. So that just cracks me up. He's done that before. Cherish says we'll be back later. Okay, Cherish. We'll see you later. I'll be here. Obviously, anybody else that's out there hanging out, if there is anybody else, I see a few of you if you want to pipe up and say hi. Otherwise, we don't know who's there. Well, at least I don't. Maybe you guys can see on YouTube. I can't. I see there are 6 of you, but I don't know who you are. So say hi. Ooh, Kristen. You probably saw my live video earlier. If you didn't, that's fine too. It's on the page. But I was talking about my punches, and you. Remember how we were going back and forth, agonizing about the color of which one I was going to get? It matches my shirt. Like, almost exactly. It's the same shade. So, I picked the right color. I knew that I did, but I was going back and forth, and I almost didn't get it. And so this is the one for me. And, like, you know, it, like, matches my nails. It's a whole thing. Just leaving us alone like that. Well, I didn't think I should probably take you to the bathroom to wash my hands, and also I had to pee, so, you know, I'm just letting all of my human needs shine through. I ate food, I had to wash my hands, I used a Clorox wipe to clean my area on camera. What's wrong with me? And now, the piece de resistance, I'm going to put on chapstick. So unprofesh. Okay. Now for this fun stuff. So this is metallic vinyl. I think she still carries it. From Shanna over at Glitterbug Fairy that I've had for like a million years. I bought this in so many colors. I love this stuff. It is good stuff. It's great for sewing. It holds up to everything. And I love it for applique, but I've made turned bags out of it. I love this stuff. It is great. Okay, let me see. I had a window on here of conversation hearts. It's kind of just like a blocky, very like stick font. So I kind of feel like there should be something in Design Space that I can do that with, right? I don't need, I think if I just like delete this stuff, right? Like, did I get a blank canvas? I'm pretty sure it works that way. So, thought, it just says text. How do I, okay. To edit, double click the text. Is this not, there you go, what's it say? So, okay. And now that I've cut out my bag pieces, I will know roughly. Oh, come here, Potter. Okay. I will know. I want to make sure I don't get the pocket and mismeasure. This is the pocket. This is a main. Both of those are mains. So now I have my kind of sizing and I can figure out. I'm just going to do a back slip pocket on the back. I'm not going to do anything else here on my front. But I'll be able to like measure what I want on here. So I need like a blocky, chunky kind of something, and right now it's telling me it's like 2 by 2. I don't know if you guys do this. This is a trick that I use. It's not really a trick. It's just I'm weird and I need like physical things to help me measure. This is my space, and so this can represent, and if this like fits well on here to me, this shape, I can kind of measure this and use it as a size. So I think that's like actually pretty perfect. If I went any bigger than that, it would be too close to the edges and in the seam allowances. So I think I'm okay with that width. Now I need, I'll use anything that's around me, like a Kleenex box, something that I can measure like physical sides on, and that works pretty well for me. So this is like 6 inches wide, the box. So if I make my stuff 6 inches wide, and I can go a little longer than this, but I don't think I would need to. This is 4. So if I stay within 6 by 5, I think I would be happy with that ultimately. So that's kind of like my field for design, I think, on this bag. If you're gonna do something fun. Okay. So that being said, how do I edit you? You're telling me that you're that's 8 inches. If I just make it 6 inches wide. Oop. So that makes it 6 by 6. But that spacing is a little bit weird. So I'm going to start off there, and then I'm going to go through some fonts. So I don't care about your dumb fonts, Cricket. I care about my dumb fonts. What I don't know is I just need nothing with any kind of like curly cues. And I need him to be kind of fat because when we cut them, I want to have enough, I want them to be chunky enough that when I stitch them on all the way around, it doesn't look, you know, any type of way. Otherwise it'll be way too busy if like the eye is too skinny. And it's a little bit hard to tell, like, how thick are you gonna be? So that's only gonna be 1/8 of an inch thick on that eye. Like, that's not gonna work. It's gonna be so skinny. So I need to kind of balance that out. Let me see here. Like, this one is much thicker, and then of course it just made it like gigantor. So let's bring this back down. I love that this now has a little, you don't have to move it on the grid to measure it. It actually tells you like, oh, your whole thing is this big or whatever. That is really nice. That was not a thing once upon a time. You used to have to measure your thing using the grid in the background and then like eyeball gouge it. Okay. I think this one will work pretty well. You can read it and it looks pretty good, I think. I think I'm gonna go with that, otherwise I'm gonna be here all night. And the eye on this is the one I'm most concerned about because you're just doing the rectangle, you know, you're not like sewing all over the place. And this one, it's like a little bit right around 1/4 of an inch thick, you know, fat wise. So I think that will work. So let's go with that. And then on the mat, and then here. And it doesn't look weird or anything. I wish. I'm gonna go back and move this a little bit because the font spacing, it wants to I don't want to waste this much here. If I highlight all of it, I think I can fix it. It basically just wants to spread the letters out so far. It's like wasting a ton of vinyl. Like -3. Okay, way more negative than that. Negative like 10. Okay, that's better. I don't want it wasting that much material because I'm gonna move the letters myself, but it wanted to cut the two words like really far away. I'm not telling you guys what I'm putting on it yet. Maybe you can see my screen. I don't know. So on this one, I'm going to go back to my leather settings. So, or like my vinyl settings. I think it'll be the same for this. I think that'll be okay. I have a specialty one. I used leather. It's thin garment leather, the 2 to 3 ounce one. And then I put it on 2 passes, but with less pressure. And again, with the fine cut blade. So that's what I'm doing. Let's see, I need to cut a piece like this. And I do the pretty side up and the ugly side, like the velvety side down. Just because that seems to work best for me on my vinyls, but this mat is also starting to get not as sticky, so I may have to break out the other mat. And of course I'm gonna cut all this extra junk off. Okay. I hope it works. Let's see. Load it in. This is what I like the Cricut for, though, honestly. It's, you know, this is that fine detail stuff. I was really annoyed about the portal bag, though. Honestly, I spent like an hour trying to screw around with the SVG, convert it. I was in Photoshop, like, manipulating this image. I couldn't find an SVG to buy, so I had to, like, create my own. And I just got tired of it. I was like, I could have been sewing by now. So I probably could have made it work. And if I were going to mass produce those bags, the portal bag, I would take the time to like sit and do whatever, but this is a one-off, and you know, I wanted to get it done. So these are much straighter lines, obviously all right angles and no curves. So we'll see how it does. The other one was all curves. So like, I hope it does good. I've never cut this vinyl on my Cricut ever. I've just sewn with it and cut it, you know, by hand. Hoping it works. And then, while that's going, I'm going to look up my cut list for all the other stuff that I need. So, I'm going to take this thing off. It's starting to itch me. I got that. I need this. I need that. I need that. I think I need that. Doing that. And then gusset stabilizer and main stabilizer. I really think I am going to do foam. I think foam would be really cool on here and give it kind of like a cool look. So I think I'm going to do foam with my vinyl on top and then my appliques. And then I'm going to, you know, not quilt, but like quilt it essentially. I think I might just leave all this alone and cut all that stuff later because I think we're going to end up doing the applique next because that's the most exciting part on the main panel. So I'm not even doing the rest of it tonight. I might just do that. Usually an applique takes me a long time. I am slow. I would say that slow sewing turtle. Are you guys ready to see what I put if you couldn't read my screen? Let's see if it cut. Ooh, that one got close to the edge. Holy cats. So, my mood lately, I decided to go snarky. I decided to do a snarky one instead. I need to get this one piece off. I'm literally going to use pliers to weed right now, y'all. Because I don't have other tools around, but it works. You ready? You want to see what's going to go on my conversation heart? That's just kind of how I feel about a lot of things lately. So, that's it. I'm excited about it. Were you looking? Did you look? Did you see it? I need to go back and reread all this. It sounds like curry sauce. Yes, I picked it right. Eyeball gouge out, Freudian slip. How you feel about the cricket? What did I don't even know what I said. Did I say something about eyeball gouging something? That is how I feel about the cricket sometimes. It's really good for what it's good for. I mean, I'm very thankful to have it. I do like it. Do I think that they charge a lot of money and like don't update the features and stuff and kind of like make the online thing a little better? It's way better than it used to be, like a billion light years from where it was. But do I think it could be better? It could be better. But hey, it's still good. I didn't have to cut all that by hand. This would have taken me literally hours. I'm not, I'm not doing that. Although I did it. I did it with the portal bag. So the long and the short of that whole thing is, that portal bag almost wasn't even in existence. I did it because I received some zipper pulls that were Rick and Morty themed, and I got really excited to make a bag, and I was like so excited, and it was like, oh, I gotta make this bag. And so I like sat down immediately and like had to get it out, right? Like I was so laser focused on it. And then some stuff happened and I was like, man, F this. Like I don't even want to finish this bag. And I almost didn't. And then I thought, you know what? Screw it. Like I spent so long cutting that damn portal out. If I hadn't have cut that portal by hand and done all of that, it wouldn't have happened. I would have said F it. And it would have gone somewhere. I would have harvested everything off of it that I could, and I would have pitched it, but I didn't. I finished it by just honestly out of spite a little bit. So, anyway, but if I hadn't have done that thing by hand, let me tell you, it would not have existed. Okay, that away. I'm gonna toss my scraps in my scrap bin. I've gotten a lot better about that, not having piles. I have a bin, and it's small, and if I need to, I go to the bin, oh, I gotta make connectors. Here's a perfect thing for connectors. Stuff like that. So, get yourself a bin, be organized, no more piles. Just to prove to you, see, it's small, it's got vinyl in it, and some waterproof canvas. But when the bin gets full, I literally am challenging myself this year. The idea is, if the bin gets full, make something from the bin. Like, even if I wasn't going to, stop what you were doing and make something from the bin, because you need to, use your stuff. So that's where I be with that. Okay, I think, at least for the moment, we're done with the cricket. I'm going to put this away. Well, I say away. I'm going to put this aside. I'm not going to put it away. Unplug it. And just get it off to the side here. I'll put it away later because I don't actually know. I haven't decided about those strap connectors. So I don't exactly know if I want to, how I want to navigate that. Okay, where do I want to put? Just right there. I think that'll be okay. Although I just blocked my whole aisle over there. Well, fine. Okay, this needs to go away. And then I gotta get this machine up here. I love these colors. I wasn't really sure what I was gonna think about it, but look, y'all, look how good they look. Come see how good this looks. Like the color is like a nice contrast. It looks really, really good. I'm super excited about that. I wasn't really sure how much I was gonna love it, and now I know I'm really gonna love it. And I got my scale exactly where it needs to be. So I, of course, hoped that this turned out. But now I really hope it turns out. I can't really, like, hold it up without them falling off. I'm going to get double stick tape here in a minute, but, like, oh. Look how cute. It's perfect. Strong grip mat started out really strong. So much so that I couldn't even get the plastic off the beginning of this video, man. Or live stream, or whatever you want to call it. Ugh. Okay. So there's that, and then we will get the sewing machine, and all these little hairs. Not hairs, but fibers out of here. Okay. So normally I use, we'll see if I mess this up too. Normally I use my Viking for this. My domestic machine, I do not ever do applique on my industrial, my full industrial over there. It's just, it's too heavy. It's too fast. I just don't trust myself enough, and applique is really delicate work, and I like to be really slow. Well, do you know what, y'all? I don't think I am going to. I just thought about it. This machine is newish to me. I've been working with it for like a month now. I'm trying to decide. I have 5 more days with it, and I'm trying to decide if I want to keep it or not. I don't really want to. I like it. The problem is it does not have any kind of speed control on it, and occasionally the foot loves to like, or not the foot, the foot pedal, okay? The only control you have on it is the foot pedal. It kind of wigs out, and it like takes off. And it doesn't do it all the time. It does it like once every, I don't know, 4 or 5, like maybe not even, like 5 to 10 times that you like lift off the foot, stop, and then start going again. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine every other time, and then out of nowhere, it just like wants to eat everything. And it's, I just, honestly, I think the problem is the foot control pedal is not very nuanced. Like when you push it just a little bit versus when you push it a lot, there's a lot of like play in there, and the foot pedal just does not seem very dialed in. So you're really just trying to give it a tiny, tiny bit, and you only push it a tiny bit, and it just zooms off out of nowhere, but you're like not even putting your foot like fully on the pedal. Again, I've probably made 6 or 7 bags on this now, and it's only done it to me twice. But the first thing I said about it was, if it does that to me when I'm top stitching vinyl, I'm going to be really pissed, because on cotton woven lining or something, you can unpick it and redo it. Sure enough, like the second time it did it to me, I was top stitching a bag. I was all done with the bag. I was top stitching. The only thing that was the saving grace is that happened to be a bag out of cotton woven, which I hardly ever do. But this particular bag was for cotton woven, and I was able to unpick the stitches and fix it. Had that been vinyl, my project would have been ruined. Because it literally took off and went all crooked, and you know, I'm trying to stop, and it just goes out of nowhere. So it's like this 4-inch part that was terrible and right on the front, and it was so upsetting. The other time it's done it to me, it was the lining. You wouldn't see it. It didn't affect anything. So that's like the big drawback of what I don't like about this machine. I did do a full comprehensive review on it that will be on YouTube soon. If you're curious, I like the machine. I want to love the machine. I can't love it because of its lack of motor like that. So that's my big problem, because I really like the price point of this machine. It is well under $1,000. And it's good. It handles tons of vinyl. It handles all the things. It's good. It just needs that additional control so that if you want to do fine detail work, you can dumb the machine down, and I wish it had better foot pedal control. None of my machines are that, you know, finicky. So that being said, I had actually planned to use this one, but now I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about that. So I think I'm just going to grab my Viking over there, which, you know, it's just a swap. But I had said earlier on the live too, like, oh, I'm going to use that brother machine, but I'm afraid after we did all that work, like, it's going to muff it up. And that's scary to me. And my biggest pet peeve in the world for me, I can't deal with like bad top stitching like that, it'll poke me in the eye forever, and I will hate it, and I won't want to sell it. So let me set this back down, let me grab the Viking, and we'll just work on the domestic tonight. It's not like the Viking can't handle it. I'll assemble on the brother, that's no big deal. But applique work, man, it's way too fiddly. And I did forget about this though. This is so sad, you guys. I haven't even tried to clean it off yet. My machine, if you can see it, got a boo-boo. My machine has been in pristine condition its whole life. I've had it since like 2008, 2009, and something fell and hit it right on the front, and it made a big ugly scratch, and I need to get a magic eraser or some like very, very, very fine sandpaper and buff this out, because it makes me sad. The funnier thing is, I love this machine. It's very sentimental to me. This is what started it all for me, my love of sewing, my ability to sew. You probably heard me tell that story a billion times, because I have told it a billion times. But this machine is just, if I did not have this machine, I literally wouldn't be here. I'd be doing, I don't know what else, something else, but not bag making or any kind of sewing. So I just, I would have to, I'll be doing a different hobby. I don't know. I tried to teach myself for years and years and years, and I had a crappy sewing machine, and I did not know there was such thing as a not good sewing machine. And there really is. Some machines just are crappy, and I did not know that. I thought it was me, so I kept fighting with this terrible, like $150 Singer machine from Walmart. I just thought, all machines are the same, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I couldn't even sew 2 pieces of cotton together. That machine was so horrible and rotten, and I dealt with that for 5 years. Cried my eyes out. I worked like 5 jobs at the time. It was a mess. I never got time off, so I'd get time off. It'd be like midnight or 2 a.m. and I'd be like, I'm gonna sit down and sew today, damn it, I'm gonna learn. You couldn't even look at this machine wrong without bobbin thread coming out everywhere. It was a mess. So I dealt with that for 5 years. I finally put it in the back of a closet, didn't touch it again for like another 2 years. I just said enough. I'm not good at sewing. I'll never be good at sewing. And I'll just find other mediums to be creative, and I did. Well, flash forward to, many years later, one day we were going into a Joann's, and my now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, says, we're walking by the Viking gallery, and there was a really kindly older lady there, and she was so sweet, and she says, how can I help you? And she was like the first dealer to ever talk to me, to ever like be nice and kind of treat me like an adult. Every other time I had gone into a dealer, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to sew. I kept saying, I want to learn how to sew. Like, I don't know what I need. And they wouldn't even talk to me. They would chastise me and kind of say like, you're too young to be in here. What are you doing in here? And, you don't want to do this hobby. It's for old ladies. Like, get out of here. Like, they were not very nice, to be honest. And it took a lot of courage for me to even go into the space, right? So, I had done that a few times, and I did not get good reactions. I mean, some of them were just downright mean. And I would just think like, okay, well, clearly they don't want me there. I mean, it was very like gatekeepy, and to me that doesn't even make sense. Your business. Don't you want to sell me a machine? But they did not. So this was the first time going into a dealer that they were nice to me. And I just thought, okay, like she's actually being really nice. Maybe she'll help me. And we didn't have a lot of money at the time, really no money at the time. And my husband starts talking to the lady, and he's like, she wants to learn how to sew. And she has a terrible machine, and what can we do? What can we do? And so the lady, sets me down at a machine well below this one. And she says, well, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this? And she's kind of talking to me, and I sew on the machine, and it actually sews. And I'm just astonished. And I kind of tell her my woes about what I'm concerned about. And, well, what if I'm no good? And she says, well, we get free classes, and we do all these things. And I think, okay, well, maybe I can do this. And so kind of the rest is history from there. The very sweeter and funnier thing is I said that we were looking at a cheaper machine, much cheaper than this one. And I wandered off, you know, Corey, my boyfriend at the time, he says, you know, let me talk to her. Because I said, I can't afford this. I'm looking at the price tag and I'm saying, look, I still need to save more money. I'm scared to invest this much money. I'm really bad at sewing. I don't know if this is going to pay out. And I'm saying all these things. He goes, let me talk to the lady. So I wander off down an aisle and I'm like petrified, thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to want me to spend this money and he doesn't realize how bad at sewing I am. And I come back. Sorry, I'm trying to change my foot. I need to find a screwdriver. I come back over and he tells me that the lady went to the back. And I'm like, okay, well, can we just leave, you know, like we can just go. I don't need to be here. Let's see, this screwdriver will work. And I'm in like a panic. I'm just feeling weird. And he's like, oh, let's wait for her to come back. So she comes back and she's got a shopping cart with a machine in it, which I'm like, wait, what? And he says to me, like, we're getting the machine. We're going to get you a machine. We're going to get you a good machine and you're going to take these classes and, you know, enough. Like, you're going to learn. It's just, you're going to learn. You've been trying to do this forever. And I'm like flabbergasted. And then I realize, I'm like, oh, but wait, she has the wrong machine. She had this machine, which was several steps up from the one that I was looking at. And, but they were having a really big sale. It was kind of around fall time. And they were having a sale, like an early Black Friday sale. And so this machine was pretty close to what we were paying for the other one, which was a much lesser machine. And I'm like, oh, but we can't afford that one. We can't do that. And he's like, you know what? It's taken care of. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, we're just going to do it. And that was kind of one of the first, you know, I had a lot of weird stuff going on in my life, you know, when he met me with my family and stuff. And that was the first time that somebody had actually invested in my creativity and in my, like, in me and in me doing these things. And so that was huger than huge. I gotta get my foot pedal. That was huge to me, and a big reason why I run my business and my attitude, especially toward new people. I don't know, you know, how many of you guys obviously have talked to me personally, but I am always around. If I get them, I always answer PMs. I have spent, I can't tell you how much time helping people through a project, helping people answer questions if I can, encouraging people in this space because of what I went through. I did not feel welcome. I didn't feel encouraged. I didn't feel like I could ask stupid questions. I didn't feel like I had a good foundation, and so I felt dumb. And frankly, some of the people that I encountered made me feel worse. And that sucked. Like, that sucked a lot. So, you know, I don't ever want to be the people who treated me that way, right? Whether they meant to or not, were really kind of detrimental to my sewing career. You know, I could have been, I firmly believe I'm right where I need to be, and I was where I needed to be at that time, but I could have been further ahead had I been helped or encouraged or even just respected by those people that I wanted to buy from so many times. And, you know, this situation, this whole machine, buying this machine, him investing in me in that way was life changing for me. So to this day, I will never forget, you know, all of that. I will never kind of stray from that ideology that I don't believe in gatekeeping. I don't believe in not allowing everybody to have a seat at the table. I don't believe that there isn't room for everyone. I don't believe in any of that because that's how I was made to feel, and in so many words told that a few times. And you know, that sucks. And it's not true. So if you're here and watching and you're just trying to learn and you're just enjoying the craft, or you want to dabble, or you just want to know about stuff, There's absolutely room for you at my table anytime. Like 100%, you can message me. You can get a hold of me on my Facebook group. You can talk to me in person at expos when you see me. You can ask me questions. If I know, I'll give it to you. I firmly believe in, if somebody, does something for you, you should pay that forward. And the lady who, helped us with this and got me into Viking, and I now own 3 of them. And I have a really good dealer here locally now that we've moved. And she helped me a ton. You should, pay that forward. So I wouldn't know all the things that I know if it weren't for, oh, my tape's already here. If it weren't for somebody else helping me. And I just think we all need to be a bit more like that. And I all think I think we all need to forget that we all, or not forget, that we all started somewhere. We were all new at one point. We were all beginners. And I don't know about you, but I'm still learning every day. I mean, you guys saw me with the Cricut tonight. I am no expert. I'm just winging it. I'm just winging it like a little baby bird. That is my current favorite audio on like Facebook Reels. That comedian with the, people keep asking me how I do it, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just winging it like a little baby bird. That's me. I'm just winging it. Like, I don't claim to know any of this stuff. Like, any kind of, in any professional way, that's for sure. Especially because I eat on camera. But, that being said, sorry y'all, I keep like looking for things. My studio is like a huge mess. And I wasn't set up to be over there, so I'm currently on the hunt for my tailor's chalk. Where are you? I might have to pull out a new piece because otherwise we'll be here for 300 years looking for that. It's on an antique plate. Where are you? If I were antique chalk, or an antique plate with chalk on it, where would I be? Anyway, so that's the whole story about my sewing machine while I'm getting ready and boring you all. Mother. I know it's staring me right in the face. I really want, it's Taylor's chalk that when you heat it, it just disappears. So I can make marks on vinyl to lay out my grid for my words. And then I'm going to double stick tape it and I'm going to put them on there. So I have a whole bin of it over here somewhere. I'm just going to pull out a new piece. Otherwise we'll be here for a bajillion years. Can I tell you guys how much I love this stuff? And it's like 35 cents a piece. You can buy it at any sewing place for the most part. It has sharp wedges. It's easy to sharpen. And then when you make marks, it literally heats up and disappears. And it disappears on everything. So, and it's so cheap. I don't know if that's going to show up on camera, and I just wiped half of it off, but you can kind of see my marks, like my crumbly marks. But then I will hit it with a hairdryer or a heat gun or even sometimes sunshine, and it just melts and disappears. But I wiped it all off, so I'm going to redo it. It works on every fabric, light, dark. There are different colors. The white one is one of the only ones that disappears with heat, though. I learned that a long time ago. So now you can probably see the line better. See? And it doesn't get on your hands. It doesn't make a mess. I love this stuff. Now I have to figure out, like, how do you find the center of a heart? Like the other way. Well, anyway, yeah, so that is why I think a lot of people are like, why does she take so much time? Like, why does she talk to people? I don't mind when people send me PMs. I like making new friends. I like chatting with people. I'm a very open person for the most part. And, again, I would not be where I am if other people had not helped me. So I like to make sure that I am, repaying back that kindness. You know what I mean? Because nobody had to help me, certainly. And, but finally somebody did. And There is no quicker way, by the way, I feel, than to kill a hobby. Let me make a little snip here. Hopefully that turns out to be a middle. In my opinion, there is no quicker way to kill a hobby than to gatekeep it. To make it feel exclusionary and make it feel toxic. And make people feel like they are not welcome. There's really no excuse for it either, especially if you're a business. Like, don't you want to sell people stuff? But also, if they don't enjoy the hobby and you make them feel like crap, why would they want to? Not only do they not want to buy from you, but like, you know, they're not going to want to be around. So not only is it just mean, but in my opinion, it's just stupid. All of those, frankly, a lot of them were older, but not all of them. All of those older women should have wanted me, a young person, to get into this hobby sooner than later, because you all know, and that's the thing, I didn't know about the fabric addiction and like the stuff addiction and the spending before I started doing this. You would have thought they would have wanted to get me in there ASAP, because as soon as you get somebody addicted to sewing, all of their money is gone. All of it. You guys know how that works. So I'm just thinking to myself now, like, what were they doing? That's crazy. So I basically folded it in half and then folded another one, so I gave myself like a grid on here. But that seems a little low to me. I might just line these up loosely before I double stick tape, but I want to line, you know, to make sure everything's all straight and stuff. But I want to line these up, and then I'll just kind of loosely do it and then see if that looks okay. I think it's too far down. So technically that might be the middle, but I want to make a line, I think a 1/2 inch above this one. I'm just going to kind of plan out a grid really. And then from there on the grid, I will be able to, you know, lay everything out nice, and hopefully it will be square. Sometimes best laid plans. There's nothing worse than doing all of this work and then, you know, having it be like wrong. That sucks. Okay. N-E-P-I-P-I-N-N-T-E. I think we're gonna need to be like right there. It's the problem getting like the spacing on these and everything right too. I think that's good. I think that'll work. So now I'm ready to double stick tape, and then I can show it to you guys afterwards. And I think I see some comments popping up there from some of you. So I will read some of those in a minute. Oops. I need snippies. This is kind of the problem with shooting all these tutorials and stuff I've been doing lately, the machine reviews. I've had to like move my normal setup away, and so now I'm like, I don't know where anything is. So I'm just kind of grabbing stuff from everywhere, like things that don't really belong over here. Like I can't find my chalk. So I'm literally just using 1/8 inch double stick tape. This is just a 3M brand. I like this stuff the best, to be honest. I try my best always to keep it out of my seam allowance no matter what, even though my machine doesn't really care, then I don't have to worry about it. And this stuff is so much cheaper than, I don't know, everywhere. Like, I'm all about supporting small shops, but frankly, a lot of the small shop tape I bought I don't like. It's not sticky enough and it doesn't stay, and I don't like it. So I've kind of exhausted all of my sources on that, and I'm really tired of spending a lot when this is like way cheaper. So, you know, I'm all about supporting where I can. I'm a small business too, and I get that, but sometimes you just don't like things. And that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of the double stick tapes. They just,